Hi everybody, Joy Garling with you today. How are you? I hope we have some people with us. Just turn that camera slightly. I hope we have some people with us joining us this morning or this evening, whatever part of the world you happen to be in. We'll just wait for a few people to jump on. What part of the world are you? Make sure when you pop in and say hi, you tell me where you're from, so that others can see it too. Oh, hi Karen. Karen's from here in New South Wales. She doesn't live too far from me here in Australia. How are you, Karen? Debbie Ellis. How are you, Debbie? Debbie used to come and do classes with me 1,000 years ago when I had my shop. Thanks for joining us, Debbie. We'll just wait for a few more people to jump on and we'll get going. I'm teaching a lovely layout this morning, and Kath Malloy Reid, I believe Kath's just jumped on. What did you say, Karen? You just made a lovely pot of tea. I hope you all will. I'd like a nice cup of tea now too. That would be nice. I'll have one when I finish, Kath. Yeah. Sorry, Karen. Hi, Kath. How are you? And Juanita. Hi, Juanita. DG Martinez. She does the most beautiful dolls, this lady. And Vanessa. How are you, Vanessa? Debbie's saying she still uses some of the tips I taught her in my classes. Leslie, DG, Rhonda Bartlett from up in North Queensland. Hi, Dale, thanks for popping in. Tammy from Alberta in Canada. Well, you'd be chilly up your way today, wouldn't you? Oh, thank you, Tammy. That's a lovely... I'm just reading the comments. Sorry. I shouldn't be reading. Anyway, today we're going to do a layout using the beautiful PRIMA Apricot Honey collection, which is that one. It's not one of the newer ones. It's probably a little bit older now, but it's still one of my absolute favourites. I did my live stream a few weeks ago using these papers out of this collection too, because it's just so nice, and I tend to gravitate towards... They're all lovely, beautiful, soft peaches and those sorts of tones. Hi, Nagayo from over in New Zealand. How are you, darling? Thanks for watching today. Glad you could be with us. Yeah, so that's what we're doing this morning. And I just think doing these live streams, people that don't get a chance to come and do my classes and so forth, and people that buy my kits. I sell loads and loads of kits over on my blog. So this is just my way of giving back to the scrapbooking community and sharing what I do with you, and also the people that support the companies that I represent. It's a way of us giving back to you via that means as well. So I hope you're enjoying them. Hi Vanessa. Vanessa's my good team buddy over at Too Crafty. Diane Searle from up in Queensland. Hi Diane. Hope you're keeping well. Yeah, so this is just a way of giving back. I hope you're enjoying them. This has launched me into doing online classes as well. Mandy used to come and do classes with me 1,000 years ago too. For the girls that don't know my background, I had a scrapbook shop from 2006 to 2014, and I taught 5 or 6 classes there a week for 8 years. So I've taught a lot of classes. But nowadays, I've started with this lockdown, I've started doing full-on online classes. Not live stream like this, but online classes. So if you'd like to know more about my actual online class, it's from start to finish and completely in-depth, proper class. Please drop me a private message on Facebook, and I'll give you some info on that. Okay, so today we'll get going. Now I've got to move the camera down to the... Hi Carolina, thanks for popping in. I've got to put the camera down on my table so that you can see what I'm doing. I hope the camera doesn't fall out of the holder. So just bear with me. Won't be a second. I tilt it down. Sorry guys, I don't want to make you sick. Now, I can't see for a few seconds if I've got that right, because it takes a minute to show up on my screen. I've just got the layout that we're doing today on there. Just bear with me. got a layout today of my one of my beautiful granddaughters. She's the star of my show today. Okay, so I wish this internet would catch up. Here we go. Yes, you can see it now. Sorry, when I'm filming, I have to watch what you're viewing on my laptop, which I have to the side of me, and there is a 15-second delay, so it's a little bit hard sometimes, and the light's not super wonderful in here today. I don't know why that is, but anyway. So that's the layout we're doing, and we're using 2 of the papers from that apricot honey collection. I just love it. It's such a, and it's got all lovely rose gold foil pieces through it. Well, that's one of the papers we're using today. There's another one with all the rose gold foil through it, and I love this little tag one that you can, you know, cut bits and pieces out of. But the 2 we're using on our layout today are these 2. I'm going to use this one, like a squares or tiles or bricks or whatever you want to call them. That'll be the background. And we're doing some fun things with the floral. So that's those. And we're also using one of the gorgeous vines from PRIMA. I mean, they do these in this apricot peachy sort of colour. They do a navy blue and they do an apple one as well. And I just love them because you've got an instant flower cluster without any, you know, fiddling or skill level at all. So that's what I'm using today. I'm also using another one of the watercolour paint sets that I road tested last week. These are my new favourite thing. They're watercolour confections, and they make all different sets. This particular one's called Currants. It's all blues and teals and greens and purple, and it's very, very nice. And of course, one of the little ink pads as well. So I'll put all that aside for the moment. I'll find a little space on my table and I'll move all that. I'll move my layout out of the way and I'll bring these back into view. Right, where are we? Just getting my tools out here. Okay, so to save a little bit of time today, now are you guys seeing that okay? Okay, I'm just hoping I'm not getting too much shadow there, and I am. Now I'll just move that light, that's a bit better. Okay, so to save a little bit of time today, I've already gessoed my background paper. Yeah, so I'm getting shadow there. I'll just move that light. So I've gessoed that, and what that, I used white gesso, not clear today, although clear seems to be my absolute favourite. Today I've used the white one because I just wanted to tone the background down ever so slightly because I'm layering up the floral one over the top, and I don't want to put busy on busy, because you could end up with a, you know, total visual overload. So I find by doing a plainer one on the background and then complementing it with the busy floral on top, it makes a really beautiful contrast. So as I said, I've gessoed that. I've done some stenciling. I just stenciled a little bit of pattern on there with some texture paste. These are the gesso and the texture paste are both from PRIMA's well, it's Finnabar, which is under the same umbrella, Art Basics, and that's Art Extravagance. Beautiful quality products to work with. So I've done that, so that saves us time. Okay, so now we can move on to the next stage, which is we need to tear this paper. So I haven't just torn a panel like that. I've been a little bit smart, and I've torn so that I get a few little bits of leftovers that I then can fussy cut out and add them into my layout. Make sure you get your writing the right way up, and we're going to start tearing. Now, like, I know I've fussy cut those, so I have to make sure I miss those. And I always tear towards me, and I'm pretty sure I left those 2 flowers out so that I could fussy cut them. I don't mind tearing off a little bit because they're going to be tucked under anyway. Let's keep going. And I'm see how I'm tearing sort of in and out. I'm being nice and wavy with my tearing. And I'll probably save those little flowers there too. So you can see I've got quite a few pieces there that I can harvest and fussy cut out. So that's that side. Then over this side, I'm going to tear it towards, I'm going to tip it upside down because I'm right-handed and I can't do that the other way. So I'll start down here somewhere. I'll miss that flower because then I could fussy cut that and the little posy there. Plus it just looks nice waving in and out. So how are we going? I've got to make sure I don't go out of camera there. Yep, that's okay. So I've got 2 pieces there that I can then do some fussy cutting, and I can add those little elements too as we go. So that's kind of what I'm left with, and I'm going to sit that off centre on my layout. So kind of like that. My computer keeps freezing. I don't know why that is. So before I stick that down, I'm going to use one of the little Prima chalk edge ink pads just to add a bit of colour. Now, I mean, I've got the whole set of these, but they're really, really old. Like if I said they were 10 years, that'd be an under-exaggeration. Which is great because now they're old, they're getting a bit dry. So that's kind of good because I don't have to use a sponge dauber. Normally I would put a sponge dauber on my finger and do the inking that way so that I don't get too harsh an edge. So, but this way I don't have to because they're a little bit dry now anyway. Because I mean, I can't complain, as I say, I must have had these for 10 years, and they're still going. Okay, so a little bit more ink on there, a little bit more, a little bit there. Okay, so I'll put that aside. Okay, so now we're going to stick that on there, probably about there I'd say. So I might use glue and tape, I think, for this. Where's my tape end? Just to make sure, because I'm putting a lot on this panel, just to make sure it's stuck nicely. Bear with me. Trying to move as quick as I can. It's very nerve-wracking when you do these live streams because you think, you know, technically you could have 1,000 people watching you, and you don't want to make a big mistake in front of the entire world, do you? That you put me in a classroom with, you know, 70 people and I'm fine. Okay, I'll just grab my glue and I'll put some of that on too, just to secure that down. That should do us. Because I'm short, I normally stand up to scrap, but I'm sitting down because I'm trying to fit in with the camera and everything. And I'm really a bit short on there, so I hope I don't keep going out of camera. Who else has joined us? Carol. Hi Carol, how are you? Carol and Janine and Patricia Sanchez. Hi Patricia, how are you? Oh, Nagayo saying it looks interesting. Well, I hope it all works out okay, Nagayo. Okay, so let's go. Now, see what I did there? I pulled the tape ends out so that I can access them still. I just want to move my phone out a little bit, just a little bit, so that you can see better. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on there. Probably, I've got my writing up the right way, probably about there, I suppose. Yeah, kind of about there. Make sure I'm straight. And then I'll just pull those tape ends out. here. Pull that one out. So that's on there. So we're all done there. So now I'm not going to just leave that like that because that would be a bit bland and boring. I'm going to just curl those edges a little bit just to, you know, add a little bit of texture. In my classes, I'm always raving on about texture, because it just adds to it so much. So you can see what I'm doing there. I'm curling that backwards and forwards. It just adds that nice little bit of je ne sais quoi, as they say. I hope I'm pronouncing that. If Marie Sabater's on here and she's French, she'll be shaking her head saying, Di, you're pronouncing that wrong. When I was saying before how I teach, that's predominantly what I do. I travel all over Australia and New Zealand and some other parts of the world, and I teach classes. So if you're ever looking for a teacher for a retreat or some classes at your shop, hey, give me a yell. Private message me on Facebook and we can have a chat. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That looks a whole lot nicer than it did before. I'll just pop that on. Not that it wasn't nice to start with, it was, of course it was, but it just looks even nicer now. I'll just throw a little bit more ink on those edges that I've curled back. Okay, so there we go. So next thing is we're going to stick our photos down. Now, I've already got my photos of my gorgeous granddaughter there. I'm going to put a little bit of, oh, what's happened? What have I got on there? I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my photos. Claire's saying she's sneakily watching from work. Oh, you'll be in all sorts of trouble, Claire. Oh, that's so funny. I'll stick that down. Let me see if that's straight. Yep, that's straight. Oh, one of the little bits of flour a fussy cut stuck there. That's all right. Who else have we got on here this morning? Kieran. Hi, Kieran from Melbourne. I'm coming down to Melbourne to teach later in the year. And I'm also going over to Perth to teach later this year. And hopefully when we come out of lockdown, I'll be heading back up to Mackay in North Queensland. We had a weekend scheduled for March, but we went into lockdown and we had to postpone it. The same as my weekend over in Perth, we had to postpone. That was due this month, and we're not ready and safe enough yet to be doing classes. So if you live in Perth or you live in Melbourne and you'd like to come to my classes when I'm over there, drop me a private message on Facebook and I'll give you some details. And yeah, we'd love to have you come along and join us. Okay, so that's where we're at the moment. So we need to add some colour. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple of doilies, but I'm going to do them slightly different to what you may have seen before. I'm using my lovely dryish ink pads. Remember, if you've got nice moist ink pads, don't ink like this. Use a sponge dauber because you want that colour to be lovely and soft, okay? But as I said before, mine are getting so old and dry that they're perfect. I don't have to use a dauber. So I'll just quickly throw that bit of colour around there. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Just again to add some texture. I'm going to snip that. I'm just going to add a camera view there. I need to be able to see what you can see. So I'm going to snip that up in the middle. And then I'm going to tweak that a bit. Like so. And just put a little bit of tape on the back of that. It just gives me a nice little bit of texture, something a little bit different to do with a doily. I'll just put another little bit of tape there to hold that in place. And I'll do the same to this one. in my online classes I do go into a lot more detail than this, but in a live stream like this, you know, we are limited by time, so I have to get a shake. So, okay, so there we go. So we've got two little pieces there. I'm going to add a bit of glue on those, on the back of that. I'm not going to necessarily pull the tape off, because if I pull the tape off, I can't slip and slide. I might put a piece in up there. And I'll put another piece in. I mean, I know you're probably thinking, well, why didn't you just take the paper off the back of the tape? I like to slip and slide until I'm happy with where it's sitting. And if I take the back off the tape, I can't slip and slide. Yeah, I'm kind of happy there. Okay, so our next thing is we're going to add our gorgeous vine. Now, get rid of that. Get rid of my scissors. Now, the vine, I have already cut mine up. That's how it comes. And I've shaped it. I've bent it here, there, and everywhere. And I also cut a little tiny piece off the end, which now I've lost on my table. I don't know where it's gone. Yeah, here it is. Wait a moment till I just grab this. Bear with me, please. Okay, so I cut a little piece off. I've already pre-done all this so that it doesn't take too long. So I want a little piece for over that side, and I want the main vine for down there. But so don't just leave it straight like that. You know, customize it to fit in with what you're doing. So that looks so much nicer, doesn't it? And we'll have a little piece over here somewhere. Yeah, somewhere over there. So that's where we're headed. Okay, I've also got my beautiful chipboard here from my dear friend over at Too Crafty. So I'm going to poke that in. Now, when I'm using these, I very rarely ever use a full one because that's a waste. I'm just going to pop that there. So we've got one down here. Yep, that's nice. And we'll probably put the other one over here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's really hard to watch what you can actually see. I'll put that one in there. Just to give me two layers there. And you don't see the part that's tucked in, so why waste a whole piece? And I think I'll put this little piece down the bottom here. Although that's only small, so I will use the whole piece of that. You notice how I don't smother the whole back. I only use a little bit of glue there because you don't need, it's so light and so petite, you know, you don't need to smother the whole thing in glue. Okay, so I've got another half there, so if I decide to use that somewhere, I will. What I did them in white, and then I used the ink pad, and I've just blobbed it here and there. See how it's very patchy, very hit and miss? And that's how I wanted it to be. I didn't want a solid coverage on that one. So now we can start sticking our gorgeous Prima vine down. Okay, and that end, see the way I've bent it over there and I've left the little curl on the side. So where are we? Probably, I'll get it down and then we can play with it and get it right. Probably about there somewhere. Oh look, my granddaughter looks like she's got a flower in her hair. Very sweet. Let's tilt that camera a bit. Sorry. Okay, so that's that one. This little guy I've stuck over the other side. I had all these pieces done because I thought it's going to take too long otherwise if I have to do them all totally from scratch. In a class, of course, we would do it all from scratch. But in a live stream, we do have to cut a couple of little corners. But I'm giving you the general idea. Yep, that looks nice. And now that's one of the little fussy cut pieces. I fussy cut mine previously so that I didn't take up too much of your time. Now we want to stick some leaves. Hang on, I'll just get some leaves. I'll even do those. Hang on, just a minute. Sorry. Okay, so I've got 3 lots of leaves, because remember we like to work in odd numbers. So you can probably move that over there a little bit, can't you? And you'll see a bit more. So I've already wired 2 leaves together, and I've sponged some gesso on. So now I can start sticking those down. Where do we go? A little piece in here maybe. As I say, when you're doing a live stream, you've got to cut a few corners, so that's why I had pre-done a lot of these things before. I might put one up there. Going. And last one, we might put this one down there. But do remember that to try and work in odd numbers. In this case, I'm doing 3. Yeah, push that there. I don't like things directly opposite, because then I think they tend to look like eyeballs. So I'll put one up and one down. That's better. Happier with that. If they were both there, it'd look like 2 eyeballs peering out at me. Okay, so then I'm going to add some little pieces of lace in there as well. Bear with me, please. I've got 3 pieces of lace to add in there. And you can see I also wiped a little bit of that ink pad on there. Another thing you can do, which I'll show you in a minute, is you can make a little colour wash out of your ink and brush some of that on. But I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so we want a piece maybe up here. And I've gathered that lace up too. That's not to say you have to. It's just each to his own. And again, I like it gathered because it gives me that lovely texture. I might put this piece in over here maybe. And that's the beauty of this glue. If I change my mind in the next, it's sticky enough that it's holding, but if I change my mind and I want to move something, I can. Whereas if I know a lot of people use hot glue, and if I was to do that, or something that sets instantly, I wouldn't be able to do that. I think I'll poke that in under there. Yep, that looks okay there. Sorry, I'm getting shadows, so I have to sort out the lighting issue here. Okay, so we've got our lace. Now we'll add our few little fussy cut pieces that that I've done. Remember I added this little bit down here. Fine, I keep knocking it. And I've got another little fussy cut piece up the top there. That was another piece. Now, and there was another one. Now, where am I going to put these? Let me have a little play. Maybe, I can't remember where I had it before. Over here. Yeah, that looks kind of nice there, doesn't it? I'll put a little piece in there. Angela. Morning, Angela from Tasmania. How are you, darling? So glad you joined us. And Cheryl, I'm just looking at my screen. Cheryl from down in Victoria. How are you, Cheryl? Chris Stones. Chris is from up in North Queensland. And Shirley from New Zealand. Love New Zealand, Shirley. I've had many trips over there and taught over there a few times. Home away from home. I was supposed to be at SENS. I was teaching a bunch of 6 classes at SENS in New Zealand in Auckland. But then that's all been cancelled. Everything's been cancelled this year, hasn't it, girls? Unfortunately, we'll just have to wait till next year now. Now I'm going to poke that little... Oh, gee, I like that paper. How nice is that paper? It just is so pretty. And I've got one more of these little fussy cut-out pieces. I know not everybody likes fussy cutting, but it's worth that little bit of effort. I might put a little one up here, maybe. So that's looking really, really nice. And I've got a little word, love you. I'll just stick that on the leaf here somewhere. Just stick in there. I do sure love this baby. And my granddaughters. It's so lovely being a nanny, isn't it, girls? Well, for all of you that are nannies. Now, okay, so next thing is I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. This is an old PRIMA stamp I've got. I never mind spending money on equipment, because once you've got, unlike a piece of paper or something, once you use it, it's gone. With equipment, you've got it forever, haven't you? Okay, so I'm just using a grey ink because I don't want it too harsh. Any grey ink would be fine. And notice how I purposely don't have this on a block. I just am stamping it freehand. What I'm doing here is I'm adding to the visual layers. It's just a little bit of something to, to add to all that. Put a little bit along here. Something that I always say in my classes, when you're using a stamp or a stencil that has a specific way, like script, it's straight lines, or brick, or music, or whatever, they're straight lines. I don't like them tilted. If it's a floral design or something like that that's all over, or circles or something, yeah, sure, do that. But when it's something that is straight, I just think it looks better straight. That's just my personal opinion anyway. Okay, we're doing a little bit around here. Some girls do this before. I tend to do it after. Oops, that one's not stuck yet. I tend to do it after, just simply because I know where I need it to be after. Poke that back in. And here. Okay, so that's that. Our next thing is, actually I might do this one as a kit because it's turning out really nice, and I've got plenty of the paper and I've got the flowers. I actually got them from my class for Perth, but I might do it as a kit, and yeah, I'll get some more for Perth. And I bought this script stamp up. I've got 16 of these, so if anybody wants this kit, I'll throw one of these script stamps in as a bonus, but to the first 16 people, because I only have 16 of those. Okay, so you have to private message me on Facebook if you want one. Okay, so now we're up to adding some frills and art stones. They're the art stones. Love them. Another wonderful way of adding texture. These come in 3 different sizes. I think that's the middle size that I'm using today. And to apply them, I'm using Art Basics soft matte gel. I mean, if you don't have matte gel, you can use glue. but make sure it's a glue that dries matte, because you don't want shiny patches all over your project. And there is an inner lid on that, so make sure you put that back on. So I'll just get a brush, kind of annihilates your brush a bit, so make sure you use old brush for this. And what I do, I just dip it in my gel medium, dip it in here, and then just wipe some around the page. The other way I do this too is I'll spread a little bit of gel medium on my page, just a smear, and I'll sprinkle them. That looks nice too if you just want them very fine. What else have we got on today? I'm just having a look while I'm doing this. Okay. I hope you're enjoying my live stream. It's as I say, it's a limited time frame, so you can't go into too much detail, but I think it gives you a bit of an oversight, or an overview, I should say, not an oversight, you silly duffer guy. Yeah, a bit of an overview into, the construction of how I construct the page. It's not to say it's how you want to do it, but I mean, that's the beauty, isn't it? There's no right and wrong. You do things how you'd like to do them. What works for you mightn't work for me, and, or the next person. We all do it our way. I'm just giving you the benefit of a little bit of my knowledge. Because gosh only knows I've taught enough classes. Oops, spilling them everywhere. That'll do. I'll probably add a sprinkling of a few more on later, but that'll do for the moment because I don't want to bore you for too long. Now, normally I'd wait for that to dry, but I'm not going to because I want to show you the next step and I haven't got the time. Oh gosh, that paper and flowers is so pretty, and it's a perfect match to my granddaughter's dress and headband. Okay. Now, the next... Oh, hi, Nella. Nella's joined me today. How are you, darling? Nella's another one that used to come to my classes back in the day when I had the shop. I had the shop from 2006 to 2014, so that was 8 years. And so I met so many lovely people in that time. Okay, so today, as I said before, I'm going to use a different set of watercolour confections to what I used last week. This one is the Currants. Oh my gosh, I'm dying to do a blue page so I can use all these gorgeous blues. I didn't have these ones when I did my live stream last week, so I wasn't able to use them. So, but now I've got them, I need to do another blue page. And you get inside the pack, you get a little swatch that you can paint a little bit of the of each colour. So that's great if you want to colour match something. I'm going to use this green 142 algae because I think that's a really good match to the foliage there. I would have liked to have used an apricot, but I haven't got a set with apricot in it. But you can guarantee I will get one because I'm obsessed with these. Great for chipboard, for, splatters, for doing what I'm about to do now. So, yeah, lots of good ideas there. So we'll put that up there. Okay, so I'll get my little trusty pen, brush. Okay, a little bit of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little, I'll get my water spray. I'm going to put a little bit of water around that edge there. And the reason I'm able to do this is because these are watercolour paints. So for all intents and purposes, I'm really kind of making a like a shadow line or something. Yeah. And because I've gessoed, remember what I said before, I've said it at other times too, that if you gesso first and you don't like something you've done, you can just wipe it off, because gesso does actually seal the paper. So can you see, I'll just move that over a little bit more so you can see it a little bit better. Now see, I'm a bit heavy-handed there. So all I'm going to do is spray a little bit of water. You see that dilutes the colour, blends it in, and I'll blot a little bit off. Yeah, because I don't want it too heavy. I just want it like a subtle shadow effect under, you know, underneath the edges of my clustering. I'll keep going. I might turn the page around so that I can get at it. But yeah, definitely my newest, most favourite product. Lots of the big online stores sell these. So they're called PRIMA watercolour confections. Oh, Lingling, you're enjoying my live stream. Thank you so much. How much is the kit, Di? All the info I'll have on my blog, Angela. Just private message me, and I'll give you all the info and all that sort of jazz and razzmatazz, because I haven't got time to do it while I'm trying to concentrate here, Angela. I'm getting old. I can't concentrate on more than one thing at a time. But yeah, just private message me and I'll give you all the details, Del. And I'll add a little bit more water in there to blend it. Always have a baby wipe with me when I'm doing this. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is, just to give that a little bit of oomph, I want to use a little bit of black as well. Now, a little bit of black does add a lot of oomph, I think, for lack of a better word. But again, I don't have a black in here. I've got blues and purples and everything, but not black. So I'm going to use one of these little black ink pads. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wipe that face down there. And you can do this with your ink pads, girls. Add a tiny bit of water to it. So in effect, you've made a nice little bit of a black wash there. And I'm just going to brush a little bit of that around. I don't know, it just gives it a bit more depth, that tiny bit. I mean, I don't want it to be dark and gloomy, but it does definitely give it a little bit more depth. And if you think, oh, that's a bit too dark, just spray a bit of water on it, which is why you have to, you absolutely have to gesso your page first. Yeah, can you see? It's just made it that little bit more depth in it all. See, and it's showing it up more. I actually really like that. And you can do that with any, you can use anything that's water-based, you can do that with. I mean, that's not to say you're going to get crazy with it, but it definitely adds a bit more depth. And you saw how I did that. All I did was wipe my ink pad face down, spritz with a tiny bit of water, just a little bit of water, just to make a bit of an ink wash, really, I suppose, for a better way to describe it. Plus the black just tones the green down a tiny bit, I think. Okay, so I think we're kind of done. So be sure to tell me what you think. Did you like it? If you want to know anything specifically, either ask it below or you feel free to private message me. That's fine too. As I said, I will do this as a kit, and the first 16 people can have a script stamp as a bonus. Throw that in. What else? I think that was about all I had to tell you. I'll be back here again next Wednesday with another live stream. Yeah, and if you're over in Perth or down in Victoria and you'd like to come and do some of my classes later in the year, private message me and I'll give you some info on that too. In the meantime, that's our layout for today using the Prima Apricot Honey collection. It's just a gorgeous collection. And the newer, those vines are a fairly new thing for a new addition to their collections too. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment and tell me what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like, if, for that matter. If you hated something, you thought, oh, Di, what have you done that for? And apart from that, I'll post a proper photo of this in about 5 minutes on this page, so you can have a real good close-up look. And I'll be back again next Wednesday. Same time, same place. Bye for now, and I'll see you then, okay? Thanks for joining me. Bye.